Threads.
How's everybody doing? This is John at Am Threads, getting ready to do my top 30 plus guitar players. I may want to make a contest out of this. I want you guys to look the list over, and then you give me who you think the top 30 should be, or top 10. We'll make it interesting, or top 20. I'll set the rules here in a minute, but I'm going to go through my list of players that I've seen in concert, live, small venue, big venue, and all points in between. First on my list, AC/DC, Angus and Malcolm Young. They play so tight together. Their rhythms are so tight. Leads are crazy. Angus is all over the place when you watch him live, especially when he was younger. I got to see him when he was younger, and he just blew my mind watching him run around and play, and he could flat out play. Malcolm, he stayed synchronized with the bass player and the drummer. Next, Eddie Van Halen. Saw him the '84 tour. Saw him at Farm Aid with Sammy. Saw him Monsters of Rock tour. Each time he was phenomenal. Next, Joe Satriani. He's in that class with Eddie. Just saw him the last 2 years play with Sammy, doing a lot of Van Halen songs. And he got to do some of his solo work too. Plus, I think they might have did a Chicken Foot number as well. Next, Slash. Saw him with Miles Kennedy in St. Louis. Next, Ted Nugent. One of his records, the one that has Stranglehold on it, would probably fall into my top 10 albums of reasons I wanted to play guitar. Just hearing Stranglehold was enough to make a guy want to play guitar. Next, Ronnie Montrose. Got to see him a couple times in St. Louis. He didn't have Sammy with him. He was older, but he was doing all the Montrose songs that we all know and love. After that, we got Vivian Campbell. Saw him with Def Leppard, but he was played with other people before that. Next, Richie Sambora. I got to see him with Bon Jovi before he left the band. Good player. Next, Adrian Belew. Not as popular or well known, but he was David Bowie's guitar player. He was in King Crimson. He had a solo project called Adrian Belew and the Bears. His nickname was the Twang Bar King. And he actually lived in Champaign-Urbana for a while. I got to see him a number of times at small venues, and man, that guy could play. All right, next, Steve Morris. He's in the Dixie Dregs and Deep Purple. Got to see him with Deep Purple. Next, Brian Setzer. Rockabilly phenom, does all that rockabilly stuff. Big Gretsch guitar, Bigsby tremolo system, can flat out pick and play. Next, maybe the best player on my list. I was thankful enough to see him in St. Louis. He was actually on tour with ZZ Top, so I got to see Billy Gibbons and him the same night. Did some amazing instrumentals on guitar. I bought a number of his records when I was younger, and he was a fusion player then, but I liked his work when he was with Rod Stewart. Did some great songs back then. Next, Ricky Medlock. Got to see him with Blackfoot and got to see him in Skynyrd. He would be on my top 30 list. Next, Jeff Watson. Played a Night Ranger. Played that Les Paul. Brad Gillis, also a Night Ranger. And then when Randy Rhoads passed away, Brad Gillis is the guy they called on to play for him after Randy passed away in the plane crash. So good player. I've seen Night Ranger a couple times. They're playing in St. Louis soon. I kind of want to go. I don't know if I'll get to make it, but I wouldn't mind seeing him one more time. Reb Beach. I think he was a short stint Night Ranger. I think I saw him with Whitesnake. Been in a number of groups. He was a winger, was his original gig, I think. Good player. Tom Scholz in Boston. Got to see Boston a couple times. For me and him, it's that guitar sound, tone with the amplifiers. They make effects right now that copy that sound you can buy. But I always liked his sound and his guitar sound. Vernon Reid, Living Colour, kind of funk metal player. They were fun to watch. Next, Don Felder, key songwriter in the Eagles, wrote some key parts in Hotel California. Used that 12-string double neck guitar. Good player and really a good guy. Out of all the Eagles guys, him and Joe Walsh are my two favorite guys in the Eagles. All right, next, Iggy Malmsteen. Saw him in '87 with around mid '80s, mid to late '80s maybe. He had that Rising Forces record with Joe Lynn Turner singing. I got to see that in Danville. My buddy hooked us up with free tickets, who worked for the radio station. Man, it was awesome seeing that guy. Unbelievable player. Next, Neil Schon. Saw him in Journey a few times. I love Neil's playing, songwriting. My problem with Neil is doesn't matter what guitar he picks up, he sounds the same, which a lot of players are like that, but he has such a processed sound. It's not like, it doesn't matter if he's playing a Telecaster or a humbucker guitar. It just sounds the same to me. But heck of a player, lots of riffs. All right, next, Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield. They're both in. Hetfield was a big riff writer. Kirk Hammett was the lead player. Metallica, they're all about the heavy guitar, those two guys, and they wrote some great riffs. Dave Lubbock of Molly Hatchet. Actually met him in Champaign. I saw him twice. Saw the Beating the Odds tour, and then whenever Danny Joe Brown wasn't in the band, and then when they got Danny Joe Brown back, I saw him in a small club in Champaign, Mabel's, and actually met him and talked to him. Cool guy, good player, just no longer with us. Gary Rosington was in Skynyrd, and he was also in Rosington Collins Group. They have a couple of songs, Rosington Collins Group songs, I really like a lot. But I got to see his SG, I think that they wrote Freebird on, was in Chicago Music Exchange, and I got to see that guitar. Anyway, got to see Gary before he passed away. I actually saw him twice before he passed away. All right, George Lynch. Saw him Monsters of Rock tour with Dokken. And if you look behind me here, this cabinet down below here, the Gens-Benz El Diablo, that's the George Lynch signature cabinet right there, underneath there. All right, next, Neil Giraldo. He played with Pat Benatar. Next, we got Rudolph Schenker and Matthias Jobs of however you say that, of Scorpions. Got to see them Monsters of Rock tour. Now I'm missing some guys. And how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So I got to 30. I'm missing Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Cooch. I'm missing some other guys too. But right there's my list of 30. Who do you think should be the top? If you were to narrow that list down to top, let's make it top 15. Out of that list of 30 players, who do you think's top 15? I don't think you can leave Eddie and Joe off, or Slash. Those three for sure got to make top 15, or Angus Young. Those four got to make top 15. And you go from there. I think Adrian Belew makes it. Steve Morris makes it. Jeff Beck for sure makes it. Okay. Have fun with it. Try to narrow that group down to 15. That's my top 30 guitar players I've seen live, and I'm leaving Rick Derringer out. I'm leaving a number of really good rock guitar players out. And but I had to stop. I kept coming up with them, and it's like, okay, enough's enough. All right. That's my top 30 list. Please like and subscribe. I'll put all my lists in a playlist so you can look at all of them. If you get a chance, make some comments on it. what you think of that list. And maybe you've seen some people I haven't seen. List some of those. Maybe those guys would make my top 30 list. All right. Thanks and God bless.